Hello everyone, this is Crustalmania and welcome back to another video. So in this video is going to be two parts of what was happening here. So I was going to a card show on this day and it was a Sunday of the 2 days of the card show. So it was a Saturday, Sunday. I went on the Sunday. So I decided to show what I was going to bring to the card show. So I have this Glaring Gallery Ditto Rayquaza VMAX card, pretty near mint. Cricketune Glaring Gallery card. And I have these Arctibax illustration rares. I bought 3 of them at the last card show. I didn't sell them off when they were $42, so probably should have at that time, but I didn't have time to. A couple Mimikyu illustration rares, which are the promo cards. So I brought those to the card show, maybe for trade. The Radiant Eevee here, Pokemon Go promo. The Pikachu Glaring Gallery illustration rare. I know this one went up quite a bit. And this Tag Team Latios GX. I'm not sure if I'll get rid of this. Unless there's something I really want, I will. But otherwise, I probably won't. Even though that card shot up quite a bit. So, I also plan to bring a couple slabs. This is the Phantasmal Flame Absol EX one. And then this is the Gengar Stormfront PSA 2. So I'm deciding to bring those two as well. I'm not sure if I'm going to do anything with those slabs. And I'm deciding to bring this binder that my friend gave me. I already picked most of the cards out from this binder. I didn't really price out this binder. So I'm not exactly sure if I'm just going to, trade cards at the card show or just get rid of the whole binder. I don't really have a use for this whole binder anymore. There's nothing in here that I really wanted myself. So we'll kind of see how that goes, but for the most part, it's just a bunch of kind of bulk commons with energy cards. There are some Delta species and mid-era cards, but to me, I didn't really grow up with that era, so these cards to me were not something I really needed. So this is just the pre-card show stuff. So in a split second, you're about to see me coming back from the card show and seeing what I got. So like that, welcome back. So basically, I have gone back from the card show, and this was an interesting card show because there were some moves I probably made that I probably should have done a little bit better on, but at the end of the day, I at least, got some stuff. I traded quite a few illustration rares away. I did keep some that I thought I was going to get rid of, and most of the lower end illustration rares were traded away. And a lot of times at this card show, I was looking for Lechonks because I was trying to get Lechonks for Lechonkamania since they've been so generous. So I was trying to look for Lechonks, and man, Lechonk has become such a popular Pokemon that even on the Sunday, a lot of the vendors didn't even have Lechonk IRs from Obsidian Flames. So this is what I got from the card show. And there's some questionable trades that I did, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. So what I got from some of the vendors, I got a Lechonk illustration rare, Fanfi illustration rare, Braviary illustration rare, and the prices were not actually $9 as the tags were. This vendor had them priced higher, but I was able to get them down to actual TCG market value, which was like almost half the price of what these were. So I got 2 Crustal illustration rares from Destined Rivals. Been looking for that illustration rare, so I'm really glad that I was able to get this one finally in English. And I decided to get 2 because I was like, why not get 2? I had 2 spots for it in my new binder that you guys will see. So I had 2 spots for it, so I just figured might as well get that. So that was traded for a couple illustration rares. I think an Arctibax and a Cricketune. I think those were the 2 that I traded with a few bucks on top for that one. So the next vendor was a Lechonk illustration rare I got. So this one I traded a Mimikyu promo for that. The vendor offered $5. Probably should have taken that. And these ones were interesting. So I did end up trading away the full binder of old vintage cards just for these illustration rares. Now, I know I kind of got cooked, but at the same time, I've been thinking about it. And honestly, none of the cards in that binder I really wanted. I just wish I priced out that binder a bit more because I thought I was going to trade a bit more from the cards in that binder, but a lot of vendors said it was bulk, so I kind of wanted to get rid of that binder because it was really bulky in my backpack carrying it around all day. So I got this Cyndaquil e-reader card. There's a huge crease down there, but I traded this for a Mimikyu illustration rare and a Rayquaza VMAX. That was pretty crazy, and I got a couple bucks, $2 or $3 on top, which was kind of crazy actually. Looking back, this card was actually worth the $4 price tag that was on the back, but I didn't really see that originally when I got the card. And then at one of the under vendors, I paid about 25, I think, if I remember correctly. This was a free card. This is the Chinese gem pack Lechonk, but I paid I think 25 for these guys, negotiated down, but I was able to find more Japanese illustration rare Lechonk cards, so these are going straight to Lechonkomania. These two are this Mewtwo's pretty beat up. This one I was going to be using for kind of grading to see if this would be like a 1 or 2 down the road, as I'm not going to be grading too much, but these were kind of like the last cards I was going to get to potentially grade. And I figured, you know, there are a couple beat up cards, and never had this Mewtwo promo. I've seen it before, never had it, so figured, you know, why not see if you get a PSA 1. And this is an Entei promo. I figured people like Entei. There are some creases there, so maybe you'll get like a PSA 3 or 4. But, you know, it's just really a test there. But this was like the ultimate card here. This was the Arm Dragon level 7. Now, this isn't the original OG one, but I've not seen any of these. And at this card show, I found a vendor that actually deals in 16 binders of Yu-Gi-Oh! There was so many Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, my head hurt after looking at it for like an hour through every single binder. Me and this other kid were looking at it. The guy just kept pulling out the binders, and I was so glad that this card was in there because it was only $2. It's not the original. Still, I'm looking for the original, but that artwork of Arm Dragon level 7 is something I've wanted for a while. So this is what I picked up at the card show. Quite a few Lechonks. I was really asking every vendor for Lechonks, and a lot of them said that people were buying them out. So Lechonkomania, they must be like pumping the Lechonk card because everyone's looking for them and buying them out. So it's pretty crazy, but these are the cards that I got from this card show. I think the deal that I should have done the most research on was the binder, especially because I should have looked into that first. So these are the first cards that I got, and I'm really glad because I got a Lechonk illustration rare and I got the Crustal Destined Rival illustration rares. And I said before, I negotiated down to TCG market price for all of these, so they weren't the sticker price tag. This is the Lechonk illustration rare. I should have just paid the $5 instead of doing the trade for the Mimikyu promo, because at the time I should have gotten a couple bucks on top for that one. This, for that whole binder of mid-era stuff, probably was not worthwhile, but I did want the Swinub illustration rare and an Ammonite illustration rare. The Lycanroc was just like an add-on, but I probably could have gotten more for that, but I just didn't want to lug that binder around anymore. Cyndaquil is pretty cool. I know people like Cyndaquil, so this one will be a potential grade in the future. One of the last few that I probably will do for quite a while. See what that gets. And then these guys here, so the Lechonk cards are pretty cool. I'm glad I was able to purchase those cards to get the free Lechonk card, and then the Arm Dragon level 7. That was really cool. This vendor that sold Yu-Gi-Oh! They might be able to take my bulk Yu-Gi-Oh! Off my hands, so hoping to maybe do a deal up with them in the future. But overall, this card show was interesting. I feel like vendors have charged a lot more for a lot of the cards that I didn't realize were that price. I feel like at the last card show in February, I knew more of the prices and they weren't as inflated. Some of them were relatively close, but I feel like a lot of prices now are really inflated. And if you don't really know the pricing of the cards, or you don't price out your own cards, or you don't negotiate and just purchase, it's going to be kind of rough just because you're going to be spending more than what actual TCG market value was. So I only know TCG market value for certain cards that I was looking for, but like the binder, I probably should have priced out to have like a rough estimate of what that was worth. But I didn't expect to trade it that day, but at the end of the day I did. And I don't have that binder anymore. It's not taking up space where I'm at, and I didn't really care for a lot of the binder cards, so it is what it is. Learning lesson at the end of the day. Probably won't get a binder like that ever again, but I don't really need a binder like that. If it was base set, it would be completely different, but mid-era for me, I'm not too familiar with. But I'm glad that I found a bunch of Lechonks. All these Lechonks are going to Lechonkamania in another kind of package from me to them. I'm going to be sending them these Lechonks as a thank you to them for being so cool. And the Yu-Gi-Oh! Armed Dragon level 7. Been looking for that artwork for so many years. I'll probably get the original one eventually, but this one was like the cheaper kind of reprinted version, so really cool just to have that artwork here. And overall, the card show was not bad. As I mentioned, for a Sunday, it was actually busier than I thought, but a lot of cards, even though they were cleared out, it was just interesting to see what they had. I noticed all the cards that they mostly had were all modern cards, so anything in like prismatic evolutions and like prior, even some maybe Searching Sparks, like prior to Searching Sparks, anything like Scarlet, Violet, base set, Obsidian Flames, people didn't have those cards anymore. They just switched to like Journey Together, a little bit of Searching Sparks, Prismatic I think it was still there, and Destined Rivals. There was a ton of Destined Rival like and 151 Ammonites. There are quite a few of those, and Pyroars and stuff like that. So they had a lot of illustration rares, which is what I noticed, which is not bad. It's just, I guess that's what most people are into. So you don't see a lot of the older cards, but there were quite a few Crustals. I could have picked up more Crustals, but I don't really need all those Crustals so far. But we'll see if I ever go again. Maybe I'll get some Crustals to do potential giveaways in the future with the Crustal cards, as the Crustal cards are pretty inexpensive right now. And I saw the Destined Rivals and Black Bolt and White Flare illustration rares around, so we'll see. Maybe I'll get those for potential giveaways in the future, who knows. But anyways, hope you guys liked this video. It was an interesting card show. Not sure how I feel about them because they upcharged the price of the tickets, but anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a good one, everyone. Peace.